I did not say that here and now and at the beginning. It ain't in the script. So what we will do is we will first open up with our sister Shalanda Baker, who probably, come here, not Shalanda, come on and give her a proper introduction. Give her a proper introduction. You know her best. So give her a proper introduction. We'll hear from her, and then we'll resume.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Gerry, for that nice introduction. So it is a bright light up here.
It is bright.
So we are very honored. We're very pleased. Baker just provide some opening remarks for us today. Shalanda, and we're very pleased and honored to have Shalanda in the belly of the beast, working at the Department of Energy, bringing the things that we can care about most to the center of the deliberations about in this new administration, and that's about justice and how to center environmental and climate justice issues in what is historically, a science agency, with a bunch of engineers and geeks who she's trying to retrofit to become justice,
Justice warriors.
Just be justice warriors. And if anybody can do it, Shalanda can do it. She wrote the book, Revolutionary Power.
Look at you.
One of the best books I've ever read that is both personal in many ways, but also has a script, a manuscript for how we can do energy efficiency, how we can do clean energy, how we can address climate change in a justice-centered way. So we've got the right person in the right place, that all national policies have BIPOC leadership in the formation of local, state, and federal policies. So we're working together with IEJ, even in her absence, to advance that agenda. But without further ado, Shalanda.
Wow, what an intro. Thank you so much. I know there's a full agenda tonight, and I really want to just talk about gratitude. I want to talk about gratitude for a minute. About 5 years ago, someone named Anthony said, "Have you met Denise Fairchild?" And I had already been exposed to the book and Energy Democracy. And I said, yeah, well, she co-authored this book, and it's transformative, and it's speaking to my heart. And he said, yeah, but do you know what she does? And I said, well, tell me more. And he said, well, she runs Emerald Cities, which is at the intersection of race, of labor, and environment. And again, I knew that this sister was a soul sister, but I was so intimidated by her that I had my book with me, and I said, ma'am, do you have a minute? Can you please sign? I mean, I think my voice was trembling, can you please sign my book? And, Denise was just swarmed by people because she is a rock star in her own right. And, even though I have this job, this historic job, I stand on her shoulders. And I know so many of us stand on her shoulders. And so with the gratitude, I just want to say thank you for your work. And thank you for the past. Part of this administration's platform, and they made a way for a queer Black woman to be leading at the Department of Energy in 2021. And so, can I get an amen? No, kidding. And so the last piece of gratitude that I want to offer is for this group, because we all came out Omicron and all that. I was like, okay, let's get, So we came out, right? And we came out to support this organization, and we came out to support the things we believe in. And I hope that no matter what transpires, no matter what the future holds, we continue to lift each other up, right? And we remain in this place of gratitude for all that we have done, all who have come before us, the shoulders we stand on, the arms we're linked with, because that's what's going to get us through this work. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak to you. Have a great night, and look forward to the event.
Now, right about now, I'm getting worried because as I look, I don't see either Joe or Phil. Ah, okay. So at least I see Phil. Now let me say a word or two about Phil. And I could say a lot of words about Phil, but I won't, right? He's currently deputy mayor of New York City. But long before we got to 2008, when Obama was running, it was Phil and I running around in New York City trying to get the first black mayor elected, trying to figure out. We also did the Jackson campaign. We did a bunch of things prior. In short, Phil is my brother. We go back too many years to remember. And he, along with Joe Rogers, was the two people. There's a fourth that never gets mentioned, right? Michael Stratmanis, who was then the chief of staff for Valerie Jarrett in the White House. That's how we got into the White House to begin with, was through Michael Stratmanis and those folks. But Phil, Joe, Michael, and I started thinking just at the point at which Obama was about to win in 2008, that once he won, that we wanted to do something big. And we wanted to have it, in some ways, have ripples that went out way beyond that moment. And so what I want to do now is kind of give Phil, who's talking to somebody else, a moment to say a word. He's probably on Amtrak. The problem with all of us is we multitask too much, and so we never focus a whole lot. But Phil Thompson is my brother, co-founder of Emerald Cities, and Phil, I know, I tried to get you earlier to tell you that I was going to do this to you, right? Would you say a word or two about Emerald Cities and what we were about?
Yeah.
And then I'll give it
Thank
to
you.
you.
Am I too loud?
You're good.
Okay. Let me just say that it's exciting to see all of you all. I wish I could be there with you. Emerald Cities has really been in our hearts, as Gerry said, for 13 years. And I really feel that the message Emerald Cities has been putting out there for the last 13 years is finally being heard and embraced.
Thank you, Phil. And now, is Joel somewhere?
Joel is somewhere, yeah.
Oh. Joel, again, we go back too many years too. We've engaged in all kinds of struggles together, from the Working Families Party to a bunch of other things. But Joel has been a valued partner and a visionary in this conversation that we've been having for the last 13 years inside of Emerald Cities. I invite Joel to say a little bit about that history for all of you, and also just acknowledge my deep love and respect for my brother, Joel Rogers.
So I'll try to be brief. I think I have just an hour to talk.
Minus about 55 minutes.
Start with the climate crisis, and we could start actually in building. We're not going to go anywhere. And why don't we do energy efficiency? Well, more than
very quick. The war paid for itself, and then Obama, came into office finally, and again the economic crisis was going on, and one of the very first meetings of his administration was us in the Jefferson Room with Mark Ayers from the first meeting with Mark Ayers from the building trades, who's passed and whom I like to do a special shout out. There are a couple of people I'd like to do a special shout out. We'll get to Denise and the kind words, or the praise words for Denise at the end. But Mark Ayers was there, and he got the point of Emerald Cities from jump. He said, "Okay, look, all right. So what you're saying is we are falling off a demographic cliff, and in the trades, we're all white, and the country's becoming, majority non-white, and we have to replenish ourselves. We have a great opportunity here to show the contribution of labor." He was a real stickler on performance. He really wanted to do the job right. You're offering me this fantastic opportunity, and I will support you. And Bob Ozinga, his chief of staff, was also very, very supportive. And then we had these very fancy people in the room. Carol Mosley Braun was in the room. Steve Chu, the new Secretary of Energy, was in the room. A bunch of people were in the room. And it more or less went down rapidly from there. They all agreed, this is a fine idea. But then the trades began to splinter. Labor went in one direction, the other trades went in another. The left, of course, was engaged in its usual self-immolation. But we tried to start Emerald Cities. We were able to find some of the foundation money, and the foundations will get thanked in this program too. And thank you, dear foundations. But we struggled for many years. Well, certainly for a couple of years before we finally decided, look, we cannot do this on our own. We need someone in charge that we all respect. And that's when we had the very good fortune via Angela Blackwell, I think was where the reference came from, and others, to hire Denise Fairchild. And the
rest is history.
And more or less the rest is history. And what Denise Fairchild has been able to do, with our help, but usually warring and incompetent as we are, is hold this table together. Labor, progressive business, civil rights, and advocacy groups through the following 10 years. And now that the foundations, along with the rest of the country, have apparently woken up to the fact that this is a fairly racist place in which poor people, black or white or brown, get screwed continually. Now the foundation monies have begun to open for us finally. And then most remarkably, Jeff Bezos, fresh from crushing a strike and in a series of disturbances and unfair labor practices so extreme. Right. So extreme that the NLRB actually overturned the election results. And now Jeff Bezos has given us a bunch of money. All right, so this is great. But the really big thing that's happened is in the political surround. We went from a Biden who had not yet, disappointed us with, his foreign policy. We became the greatest, terrorist in the world, setting all the drones all over, war, domestic policy, not doing anything about the housing crisis, or his personal loyalty to labor, immediately jettisoning a campaign promise that they'd extracted with blood, really, to get him elected, namely to pass or push for the Employee Free Choice Act. But all those disappointments were still ahead of us. But the biggest disappointment came just a couple months after that meeting in the Jefferson Room, when the Republican Party said, okay, we have decided to become essentially traitors to the country. We're not going to support in any way Obama's efforts to try to save it. And things sort of went down from there too, until we got Trump, of all things. And But history goes and things come back, and there are counter forces all over the place. And now suddenly we get Biden, not anyone here's first choice as a paladin of the proletariat, but somebody who lifted up uh, by all the protests around George Floyd and a number of other things, has committed himself to a fairly racially conscious and certainly union conscious program of reconstruction. Of course, the Republicans are not going to support any of it. And of course, their strategy now is just to delay and delay and delay until they can say, okay, I showed you they're incompetent. But that game is by now utterly familiar to us. But we suddenly have, as Daryl Wright summarized it this afternoon, this unbelievable storm of opportunity, both from the national government and what they're asking the states and the cities to do, and from the amount of money that, however much however much if money comes out, it's going to be a fraction, a tiny fraction. I would estimate maybe no more than 1/7 the $6 trillion that Trump gave the top 3% of the population with his massive tax cut. But still, there'll be much more money than we've seen for a long, long time. And so having shown how this stuff is done through the ARC program on anchor institutions, through the Renew program, through Harambe, a brilliant little pun on we're doing this together on high road energy retrofits, and a variety of other small projects that we have been able to do during this long drive. This year, and what I'm saying, or this year, well, whatever. Okay.
Wrap it up, bro. I love you, but like I'm losing
Okay, all right.
my
So,
audience here.
okay, sorry. We have a bright future. We go deep in a few different regions where we've already got a bunch of models, and we're going to go broad with a better finance resource center to spread this work all over. But let me just end with Denise. All right, so the shout out to Bob and Mark, but on Denise, let me just say this: that this thing would not have been possible. None of it would have been possible. The table would not have held together. We would not have struggled along in terrible circumstances, often financially, if not for this. And certainly we would not have gotten this boatload of new money in if but for Denise. And Maya Angelou famously said that she'd learned that, people always forget what you say and forget what you do, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And for Denise, I actually don't forget what she said. I remember when at her first job interview, she was asked, what's the essence of organizing? I've quoted this to students ever since. She said, well, part of it is education, part of it is inspiration, and then a very large part of it is a shitload of therapy, which I always thought was a wonderful remark upon
Ongoing therapy.
Ongoing therapy. And what she's done is right before you and will be celebrated by everybody in this room. But the way that she makes you feel, and this is true of me, and I think it's true of everybody who's here, is as talking to, or feeling the respect and love and determination and just, come on, let's get off our ass. Come on, let's fight for hope. Let's make hope possible rather than despair inevitable. Let's do something. Let's get going. But always with unbelievable affection and love, which is what I feel for her too. And with that, I will finally leave you in peace.
Now you see why I have such complicated feelings. Deep love, respect. Those are my brothers. That is my sister. We have not, however, been able to survive this long 10 to 12, 13 years without people who actually sort of believed in us. Sometimes when we were like doubtful ourselves, right? Like, is this really right? Is it really going where we need to? but there was a bunch of foundations that really kind of stuck with us through it all. And so we want to express our deep appreciation to the following foundations. The Kresge Foundation, Surdna Foundation, and Kendeda Foundation, and then one of my personal favorites, the Nathan Cummings Foundations. Right? We have several of our partners here with us virtually who would like to share a few remarks. So, Ms. Shamar Bibbins from Kresge. Are you with?
Yes, good evening, everyone. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Good evening, good evening. So I'm Shamar Bibbins. I'm a senior program officer with the Kresge Foundation, and it's such a pleasure and honor to be here tonight. My colleagues couldn't join tonight, so on behalf of our entire foundation and the environment team, it has been such an honor and pleasure to be partners with Emerald Cities over these last 10 years. Just a quick story and kind of staying in the vein of gratitude that Shalanda started us off with. When I came to the foundation 7 years ago, so Kresge was already, investing in Emerald Cities, and I had known Denise in my days sitting in DC. So I had already known Denise and had been working with ECC. But when I came to the foundation, I came there to lead what was a new body of work at the time around our climate resilience work, and so I got the job. And I quickly learned that on the advisory committee, Denise was one of our advisors. And I was like, holy crap, this job couldn't have gotten much better already. So it was just such an honor to know, right, that I was stepping into this new role, leading some, helping the team lead new work, and having Denise and many others on that advisory committee. We could not have done that work, that big initiative, which set the stage for a lot of the work that our team continues to do around our equitable climate resilience work, was really instrumental to having that thought partnership with the others. And personally, for me, it was what really helped me along the way as I moved this space. So thank you, Denise, for that. And since then, we've done so many great things, from the Anchors to Resilience work, the Energy Democracy book, all the equity and building electrification, all the things we've been doing and that we'll continue to do. So just thank you for being such great partners. Denise, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for all that you all do in the space and will continue to do. We're just honored to be rocking with y'all. So thank you.
Now, were you here, Shamar, you would get this award. We'll be sending it along to you at some point. But thank you so much for your commitment to us and to the work. And so next up is Allison Corwin from the Surdna Foundation. Allison?
Hey everyone, good evening. Y'all hear me all right?
Yep.
I so wish I was there in person. I can feel the energy and the love coming through the screen. And like Shamar, my colleagues from Surdna couldn't be here this evening. So I'm here repping us all, but so excited for this moment. So happy birthday to ECC for the first 10 years. And just a big congratulations. Wait, what's happening? Is Denise coming to the mic?
No. That was a faux pas.
I was like, ooh, wait, Denise is coming back up. What's happening?
No, you're good, sis.
Okay. I think, Shalanda, I want to thank you. And by the way, thank you, Shalanda, for all of the incredible work that you're leading. This is a whole ecosystem of folks. And I just also want to continue in the vein of gratitude. And just share that it's been a joy, it's been an honor, it's been a privilege to witness your work. For me personally, it's been rocking with y'all for the last 9 years. Just to invite me into space to really follow your leadership and learn from you. And Denise, I really want to thank you especially, first let me just say, Gerry and Phil and Joel and all the folks who had this brilliant idea, thank you. Thank you to the staff over so many years, brilliant. And then specifically, Denise, you're deep in my heart, and I just wanna specifically thank you and Felipe as well, just for all of the like deep education, conversation, connection, and really just sort of allowing me to follow your leadership and showing me the way. When I was new in philanthropy, you really were sort of a North Star. You oriented me inside a world that felt very disorienting, and your leadership is always bold, it's courageous, it's clear. I love you. I'm so happy to be here celebrating you and all the Emerald City's success and future and continued success, and the future is bright. And just much love and deep gratitude and respect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Allison. And we've got an award we'll send you as well. Is Valerie Boucard here?
Yes.
Valerie,
Yes.
there you are.
Yeah.
From Nathan
Everybody-
Cummings.
Yes, from Nathan Cummings Foundation. Well, good evening, everyone. Echoing Allison's lament that I can't be with you in person today. Also, I'm in my office, but everyone else is gone. So it's just me tonight. But I just want to tell you how humbled and deeply honored I am to accept this award on behalf of NCF. It's really just been an incredible and immense privilege to partner with Denise and with Emerald Cities. So earlier this year, NCF adopted a set of values, and the one that really stands out to me in the work of Emerald Cities and also in Denise's like really incredible visionary leadership is courageous transformation. At the heart of that is partnerships that show us the potential to courageously reimagine and transform our world. I think we all know, obviously, we're facing multiple intersecting crises: climate change, attacks on our democracy, persistent systemic racism, that pervades every facet of our lives. And Emerald Cities, for me, that holistic and transformative approach really makes a just transition possible in cities and states across the country. And it's doing that in ways that build economic opportunity and wealth and in low income and BIPOC communities, folks on the front lines where these investments are most needed. And it's also bringing people together in partnerships that embed racial equity and inclusion and high role job standards into all of your work. And so I really want to take this opportunity to thank Denise for her incredible leadership, her grace, her dedication, and willingness to share her expertise and her insight, all of which has taught me so much. Like Allison, I was very new in philanthropy when I began to support the work of Emerald Cities, and Denise, your partnership helped us to refine our strategies as we support efforts to make a just transition real on the ground. So Denise and every person on the team at Emerald Cities, I just have to let you know, you inspire me every day. Your work is what gets me up in the morning, what gives me hope that a clean energy, really sustainable future for all of us is not only possible, but within reach. So I'm grateful to have even a really small part in your success. So thank you very much.
So once again, thank you to our foundation partners in all of this. Totally impossible for us to have gone through these last 10 or 12 years without them. And at this point, I'd like to turn it back to Joel. God bless us all. Joel?
Yeah. I'm not. Yeah.
You're up, baby.
But what am I doing now? Am I thanking the board, or who am I thanking? I thought Denise was did a switcheroo on this.
We've said wonderful things about our funders. And
Okay.
now,
Okay. Do we have all of the old board people here?
would you help him?
Yeah, please help me. I'm desperate without your help here.
Okay,
Well, we've
thank
got
you.
the existing board. I can certainly see those folks.
Well,
I'm
I
sorry.
think, so I got this, Joel, just
Okay.
well, we want to just make mention of not only the funders, but if you heard, the original founders that conceived this and sort of birthed the idea, collected you know, the great minds and all to get this thing started. But there's a number of board members that have been with us from the very beginning, okay? So we are going to, with this, and Joel, if you are okay with this, present or list, identify, except I can't see, the original board members have been with us from day one. And we also want to recognize all the others that have been a part of this journey going forward. So we just want you to kind of raise your hand, because we're not, you can read better than I can. Anybody got eyes? Please read the list. But I can tell you, we're first giving the Founders Award goes to Gerry, Hudson, SEIU. It goes to Joel Rogers. All right, Cows. It goes to Phil Thompson. From the very beginning, we had Don Mathis. I don't know if Don is with us. He's with CAP. But
Yo, baby.
All right, Don. Woo! We got Don. Let's see, who else do we have? From the start, we had Kevin Riley from LIUNA. IUPAT.
From the Painters.
From the Painters, from the beginning.
Yeah. Okay.
Is Jack there? That'd be great if Jack's there.
Sunya Zadaman from the Council of Large Public Housing Authorities from the very beginning. What else is on this list?
Okay, we're with you. Congratulations.
Who is
Great
she?
work. Yes, I've been released from grand jury duty service, and you're making the world a new place. Thank you.
Policy Link, and from Angela Blackwell to Clem have been with us from the very beginning. We have, in addition, so many others. But who else did I miss?
Well, Neighbor Works used to be part of it. Remember Neighbor Works?
Yeah, but they haven't been with us for 10 years. I'm saying who's been steady
right.
and on the job. I apologize for this. And Mary Ellen Sprinkle for the core network. These are folks that have been dedicated from the very beginning, and we thank you. We don't want you to go. But in addition to that, we also have, so we have a what we call a Founders Award. For each of you to be a part of something to remember us by. So we'll have those gifts available to you. But we also have, for all the others that have been along the way, not been with us for the 10, 12 years, we do have a recognition for the amazing support that we've gotten from all of our board members to make this dream come real. So the last thing I want to do is just give out the President's Award, okay? That's a special privilege. First of all, you guys, I did not expect this to be about me, and I just want you to know that.
Yeah.
Having said that, none of this happens without a team and people who are dedicated to animate a vision and make it real, even in the context of struggle, right? An economy that collapsed, different political winds, but holding true to the dream. And those that have been with us from the very beginning, I want to recognize tonight. They've been long-standing, they've been visionary, they've been courageous leaders. Avni Jamdar, raise your hand. Our leader in the Bay Area, Steve Gelb, this is for you, Steve. We want to honor and recognize Tara Marchant, who's been with us actually she keeps reminding me that she was hired before I was, but she
It's true. It's true.
She went off to really do some important Zen work, and so but this is for Tara as well. But in addition to that, we do have something special for all the staff members. But I also want to give a President's Award to people that have been I personally feel have been important in my life. That's to Dana Cunningham. Dana.
Yeah.
As well as Angela Blackwell. These are my sisters in struggle, okay? These are the sisters that I would call up and they'd say, "Motherfucker, do you know what just happened to me?" And they say, "Yeah, girl." When you get that yeah girl thing, you know that somebody's got your back and they're going to listen to you and really help you sort through things. I could call on.
Put all those other crazy people in check.
Right. It said, it ain't about you. You ain't the crazy one, okay? It's the other stuff that's like, crazy. But they've taken me along and helped my growth and helped me in my development. Brought me along on many journeys, including Mondragon, so I can understand, cooperatives and so many other sort of journeys about economic democracy and understanding even how our Afro-Colombians and Afro-Brazilians are, addressing this issue of climate and how do we really understand this even in a global context and understanding the struggle from a global perspective. It's been so empowering for me to be in that journey. And so Dana, I don't know if you're there, but my sister, I love you forever and hope that you stay by my side as we go into this next venture. And Angela Blackwell, she's a star, she's a rock star, and I'm always in awe of her power and her glory. So I want to honor and recognize them with the President's Award. And there's one last award I want to give, and that is to somebody that I just don't he's just the special person in my life that's come in, and I just found him to be quite amazing for the values that he brings, but the position that he holds, and that's to Don Gilligan. Don Gilligan is someone who, as president of the National Energy Services Company, these are major corporations, Johnson Controls and the Siemens of the world, and they're different, right? They're different from us. And he's the president of these guys, right? But he is at our table. He is probably more radical than Joel, So they get up there and they quote Marxist this and that and the other, but more importantly, rolls up his sleeves on any and everything that we're doing. So we've got, from my heart to yours, a President's Award for all that you do. So thank you for that. So, close us out. Close us out. Dana, do you want to say anything, sister?
No, she says she doesn't want to say anything, but I'm going to insist that Dana says something. Because in truth, you see all these brothers that we've been talking about. This is the sister that has been organizing us for more than 30-something years, right? Way back when she was at the Rockefeller Foundation and others, she has created networks beyond networks from one end of this country to the next. And she is the person who beats me and Phil and all of the rest of us into some sort of human shape. So, Dana, with great love, say a word. She used to be on this board too, right?
I got kicked off the board because my husband. I just want you to know that. Not voluntarily did I leave the board. I'm just saying. But,
we're coming back.
We're coming back. We are coming back. I just want to say, Denise, that from the day I met you in that interview, it was so clear to all of us that you were the one. You have been my sister, my leader, my inspiration. I am so, so, so proud of what you have done with Emerald Cities. Where it is right now is just extraordinary. All the doubters, all the haters, and you just kept building and building and building. And there will be Emerald Cities because of you. And so just tremendous gratitude. And girl, we got to talk.
And so on that note, and
and girl, I can't wait now. Okay, it's gonna get good. So the last thing, I just want to honor all of the staff members that are my light in my life. These are the reason, you guys are the reason I wake up in the morning. I want to thank all of you for getting us here today and all the logistics that went behind this. But I also have a special gift and award. It's around here somewhere to someone who takes care of me like you would not imagine. You know, so if I'm texting at 3 in the morning, you know, he's going to text back at 3:01. Okay, if something has to be done, I consider him better than my son. Okay, because my son is not as responsive. You know, none of my sons are as responsive as Adatola Shabi. So Adatola. I have a particular emerald stone, and we know that we've got gems, and I've given everyone an emerald stone and the energy that brings from my heart, but I have a special one for you and want to honor and recognize for all that you do to keep me sane. Thank you.
And so, isn't that amazing how that works? Like, we can actually end somewhat close to on time. What I will say in closing is whatever we thought we were doing when we created Emerald Cities, what we have learned along the way has built a vision different than the one we had at the beginning. And I think the vision that has been built since we began this is the vision that I think the country actually needs now. And so it is with enormous amount of hope. And I'm usually, among all of them, the cynic, right? But I would say that if there is a hope of building a politics of decency for this moment, it will come in part from you. And so thank you so much for sticking with us all these years. I think the future is yours.